Employee benefits for small businesses, not just health insurance. Hi, this is Kathy Bukowski. I'm the owner of CB Health Insurance, and this is the Small Business Benefits YouTube channel. Today's video, we're going to talk about employee benefits, and this is not just health insurance. However, oftentimes when I talk to people and you say the word employee benefits, or the two words employee benefits, they think of health insurance. And many times when I talk to small business owners, especially when they're first starting out, they say to me, I can't afford benefits. And what they mean is, I can't afford health insurance. But truthfully, benefits fall into a number of categories, some of which cost very little to implement. However, they give really big rewards to the employees. So what are we talking about? I've lumped them into four categories. We're going to go over four categories of employee benefits. The first one is compensation. How are they paid? Now, you have to pay your employees, right? They have a salary, they have an hourly wage, but I'm not just talking about how much they get paid per hour or their salary. Do you offer paid time off? Do they have sick pay? Do they have personal pay? Do they have vacation pay? Does vacation go up over time? Do you pay them for holidays? Do you give them flex time? Do you allow your employees to come in late and work later? Or, do you allow them to come in early and leave early? I knew somebody that had kids that played sports and they wanted the afternoons off to go to this baseball game and that hockey game and whatnot. And so they clocked out at a certain time and logged back in from home. And so flex time can mean a bunch of things. Do you allow employees to bank their hours for more time off later? Now you have to be careful because there are some laws within respects to certain income levels. You have to pay people time and a half over overtime. However, there are some people that are allowed to bank hours and they would rather have time off than extra money, believe it or not. I know, hard to believe. Last but not least, you give bonuses to people on a regular basis. Some companies will have bonuses for like the salespeople, but I'm talking about everybody. There are some key people that might not directly impact the sales of the company or the bottom line, but they're on the customer service side, or they're back in the factories, or they're working out there. And do you give them an annual Christmas bonus? That's an employee benefit. Do you give an annual bonus on their anniversary? That's an employee benefit for doing a good job. So those are all the things that fall under compensation, category number one of employee benefits. Category number two, we're going to call environmental/cultural benefits. What are we talking about? What is the culture of your office? For example, do you have a relaxed dress code? Do you have casual Friday? Do you allow pets in your office certain days a week? Do you offer snacks and beverages to your staff? In our office, we do this. I'm a big snacker, but we have like a little break room, and there's a refrigerator and obviously microwave and coffee pot. And we have tea and hot water and cold water and pop and snacks, right? So I'm a big snacker. So we have nuts and granola bars and cookies and chocolate, but also healthy things too. So, I even have oatmeal because I eat a lot of meals in the office, sometimes on the go. So do you provide that for your employees? That is a benefit, believe it or not. I once heard of an office that did potluck Wednesday, and the owner bought the main dish, the chicken or whatever, lasagna, and everybody brought a side, and then you had a communal lunch. Or the owner can buy lunch for everybody. I have a client who's a printer, and he used to do this on a regular basis. And there's something to be said about everybody getting together and having a meal that is not organized around, I'm not talking about bagels at your weekly staff meeting. I'm talking about just for no other reason than just to sit and have a conversation. So there's a benefit to that. Last but not least, do you offer the ability to work from home, and how many days a week? Today's day and age, after COVID, there's a lot of people looking for that work from home solution, but maybe you can't do that 100% of the time, but you could do a hybrid version of it. 3 days in the office, 2 days out of the office. It might be Monday, Friday, but maybe there's a mandatory Monday meeting. Maybe you let people, I know of an office that does a hybrid situation, but everybody's in the office on Wednesday. So you get to see everybody. And there's a benefit to that, right? And these are all things that fall under number two, cultural, environmental benefits. These are benefits that you give to the employees, don't necessarily cost you a lot of money. Now, number 3, we're going to call other. I'm going to lump a lot of things into other because this could be retirement benefits, a 401k, a SEP, an IRA. It could also be tuition reimbursement for the employee or for their dependents. It could be paying for certifications, licenses for your business. It could be paying for CE, continuing education. It could be paying for a coaching program. Maybe you offer them a personal development program, or maybe you want to groom them to be a manager, but you want them to work with a coach or take a class. Maybe they don't have a skill right now and you are going to offer them the ability to take a class online or at a local community college. And last but not least, you could offer ownership in the company. There are companies you could do this formally with an ESOP if you're a bigger company, 50 to 100 employees, but you can do something a lot less formal. Are you offering ownership in the company down the road? So that's all number 3 under other. We'll lump under other. Last but not least, I saved this for the last, number 4, insurance, right? Because when we think employee benefits, that's what people often think of. Health insurance, life insurance, dental, vision, disability, long-term care, all those things. So in my mind, there are 2 types of insurance, right? There's employer sponsored and there's voluntary. Employer sponsored is the employer is paying. It could be 100%, 80%, 50%, 25%. Voluntary, the employee is paying. The employer pays nothing. They offer the benefits, kind of like a cafeteria plan, and the employee picks and chooses, and you deduct the premium, the bill goes to the company, and the bill gets paid. So typically we think of voluntary as the AFLAC benefits, right? Accident, critical illness, supplemental benefits, right? For accidents and illness. But for the employer sponsored, we absolutely have health insurance, right? And it used to be that dental and vision was the same way. However, we've come a long way in the small group marketplace, and there are companies out there that now allow a small business to offer on a voluntary basis. They pay nothing, and you can offer dental and vision, and the employees that want it can sign up. It used to be that you had to have the employer pay, and we needed 70% of people to sign up. And that was always a problem with small companies, small employers. Not everybody wanted those benefits, but it is an option today. Some benefits do require the employer to pay 100% of the premium. What am I talking about? Typically group life insurance, especially the small amounts, right? $10,000, $20,000, $25,000. However, this is a very affordable benefit, does not cost a lot of money. And, when I came into the business a long time ago, decades ago, insurance companies used to require, if you bought health insurance, you had to add the life insurance. That was an ancillary benefit you could not waive out. Everybody got a base life insurance. And that is not the case anymore. But I remember having a claim. It was a client of ours, and they owned a number of restaurants, and they were having a hard time offering benefits to all the employees. They had part-time, they had a lot of turnover, and the younger folks didn't want to pay for it. They didn't want to pay. So we did a carve out for the management team. They were on a separate company, separate payroll, and all the key people were on that. And one of the things we added was a basic life insurance. I think it was $25,000 or $50,000. And there was a young manager, he was in his 40s, and he had something happen and he passed away. And that small amount of life insurance was the only thing he had, and he was engaged, and it helped pay. His fiance reached out to us, and we were able to pay the claim, and they paid for all the final expenses, which today can cost $15,000 easily if you do it so there's a benefit that you can give to your employees that doesn't cost a lot of money. Another thing that is typically 100% employer paid is short-term disability. They don't usually offer to do this where the employee pays part of it and the employer pays part, because they want 100% participation. But you can do as little as 26 weeks. 26 weeks is, in case somebody has a car accident, they end up in the hospital, or they have surgery and they're out for a few weeks. If it's one of your key employees, and you don't have disability to pay them, and now you're deciding, oh, I want to help them out. Well, first of all, that's a problem if you don't have in writing a sick pay plan that says how you're going to continue your salary. And second of all, how long can you afford to pay somebody out that's out sick, right? So you can transfer that risk by buying short-term disability. It does require the employer to pay 100%, but not all benefits have a cost, and not all benefits are health insurance. So employee benefits for small businesses, not all health insurance. We hope you found this video helpful. Until next time, Kathy Bukowski, the owner of CB Health Insurance. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Give us a thumbs up if you liked the video, and feel free to leave a comment. We check them and respond all the time. Thank you.